Hello everyone, I am back with another video this week. So I had initially planned on making the peanut butter styrofoams today, which is a cookie from Baking Yesteryear. It's the start of the 1940s chapter. However, we are in the middle of this brutal heat wave where I live. It's been insanely hot even for me. Usually I like warmer weather because I'm almost always freezing, but this is even too much for me. And I just really don't want to turn my oven and heat up my kitchen. Just because even with the air conditioning on, turning on the oven with as hot as it's been is just way too much. And I really don't want to be making these cookies in the middle of the night because that would be the only time it would be at least comfortable enough to have the oven on. So instead, we are going to be doing a Kool-Aid pie this week. So this one will be a little bit different because I will actually tell you how much of everything to use, just because there's tons of, if you Google Kool-Aid pie recipes, there's a ton of recipes that will come up, but they are basically all the same, at least for the filling. From what I've seen, they've been all basically the same. Like, the main difference is, like, some pies will have you make your own graham cracker crust or give you a recipe to make your graham cracker crust. Others will call for a store-bought graham cracker crust, which honestly, whichever way you prefer to go is up to you. You know, it just depends on what you like and everything. I do use a store-bought pie crust in mine just because it's quicker, it's easier, and everything, and just saves a couple steps. But by all means, if you want to make your own graham cracker crust, go for it. It is a super quick and easy recipe, but it does take some time to set up. So make sure you are kind of planning ahead for when you want to have it and everything. But other than that, it is a great pie to make during the summer just because it doesn't take a lot of ingredients, it's no bake, and it's a nice, refreshing pie when you have it. I have made this before in the past. Usually make at least one every summer. So I am really excited to be sharing this with you today. I will also have the ingredients listed down in the description box this week, just because it is one of those recipes where there's not a lot of variations in it, and everything. And it's just kind of a nice generic recipe that I feel comfortable with sharing, like, the amount with you guys and everything, versus the other recipes that I typically review on this channel. So with that said, let's get started. All right, so for the Kool-Aid pie, we are going to use a graham cracker crust. This is one that I just bought from the store. You can definitely make your own if you want to, but the store-bought one is definitely easier and quicker and everything. But, if you're motivated, go for it and everything. We've got a container of Cool Whip here, a can of sweetened condensed milk, and a packet of Kool-Aid. I am using the orange flavor. That has been our favorite flavor for this pie. But the nice thing about this pie is you can use any flavor of Kool-Aid that you want. There's tons of flavors out there, so you definitely play around, see what you like and everything. The orange has just been our favorite flavor. Kind of tastes like an orange creamsicle after it's done, and it's great in the summer when it is super hot like this. And that is absolutely everything that we will be using for the Kool-Aid pie. So let's get started. All right, so in here I have the entire can of sweetened condensed milk and the entire packet of Kool-Aid. I am going to mix those up until the Kool-Aid is dissolved and it's all mixed together. Once I have that done, we are going to add the Kool-Aid into this. All right, so I have the Kool-Aid and the sweetened condensed milk all mixed together. I am going to add the entire container of Cool Whip and get that mixed together and then pour it in my pie crust. All right, so the filling is in the pie crust. I'm going to pop the lid back on and put this in the refrigerator so it can set. Um, you want it to set at least 2 to 4 hours or overnight. Usually when I make this pie, I usually make it the day before and let it sit in the refrigerator overnight to set up really, really well, but you can definitely have it sooner than that. After this is set, I am going to cut a piece and show you guys what it looks like, and I'll be back with my final thoughts. All right, so this is set overnight. As you can see, it's just a little bit more solid and everything. It smells really good. You can smell the orange in it. I am going to cut a slice and I will be back with my final thoughts. All right, so I am back with my final thoughts on the Kool-Aid pie. It turned out really great. This pie almost always turns out pretty good when I make it. The big thing with how I feel about this pie or how much I enjoy it kind of depends on the flavor of Kool-Aid that I'm using. The very first time I made this, I used the fruit punch flavor of Kool-Aid and it was okay, but it wasn't anything spectacular or anything like that. I didn't make it again for quite some time after that just because I hadn't cared much for the fruit punch flavor and everything, just kind of was like, it's all right kind of thing. We finished it and all that, but just never had much of a desire to make it again or tell people like, hey, you got to try this pie or anything like that. And then a couple summers ago, I decided to give it another try using the orange Kool-Aid because I was kind of on like an orange creamsicle kick and everything and wanted to see if that would kind of turn out like a creamsicle pie. And we've been making it fairly consistently since then just because we did find a flavor that we really enjoyed. I have also tried it with a blue raspberry Kool-Aid and that was okay, but the orange has still been our favorite. I am kind of curious to give it a try with the lemonade flavor of Kool-Aid to see if it kind of tastes like a lemonade pie and everything. So, because I've had lemonade pie out at places like at restaurants and stuff, but I've never made one myself. And it is something I do like and has been something I've always kind of wanted to make. And everything, I just haven't gotten around to making one myself yet. And was just kind of curious to see if the lemonade flavor Kool-Aid would be kind of a nice, like, little cheater version of a lemonade pie, and everything. And now that I'm thinking of it, if it's still super hot, I might try an actual lemonade pie next week if I can find a nice, simple, no bake one. Because I'm honestly not sure what I will be making next week for you guys. It just kind of depends on what the weather is doing and everything. If this heat wave continues into next week, I will be finding like another nice no bake recipe to be sharing on this channel just because it's brutally hot in here. But I am in the Midwest, so weather here is incredibly unpredictable. You know, it, where it's just one of those things where we can have like 3 different seasons all crammed into one day, and you just never know. And so if the weather cools down, I will jump back into baking yesteryear with the peanut butter styrofoam cookies. If it is still extremely hot like it has been, which I'm kind of expecting it to be super hot yet, I will make another no bake recipe for you guys and everything, um, just because it's hot in summer and no bake recipes are great during the summer, but we'll just have to kind of wait and see how things go. And then, so yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Definitely give this recipe a try. Let me know if you've had it. Let me know what flavor you tend to use if you do make this quite a lot. Please make sure you're subscribed. Please like this video if you've liked it. Please share it. And until next time, good times, good food, and stay cool out there.